Hey, do me a huge favor before you start this episode, and please rate and review this show. By doing this simple task, it helps me rank higher on the podcast charts and helps me reach more entrepreneurs who are looking for free content like this. It will take you less than 30 seconds of your time. Thank you in advance, and I hope you enjoy today's episode. The tech lessons from the Sarah and Raphy event that I just videographed. That's what I'm going to talk about. The tech lessons and some things that I learned and some new toys that I got. I'm walking on the 101 in Encinitas, California as I record this. It's high tide, so I can't walk along the ocean itself, like on the sand. I'm walking on the walking path that overlooks the ocean, but is also right by the 101, which is a road. And I typically try to not record when I'm walking along the 101, and now I see why. I remember it is so freaking loud, so I hope you're able to make it through these few episodes that I'm recording as I walk along the 101, because there's some background noise. Train just went by, street sweeper. Oh my goodness. So I've been using the Rode Wireless Go 2, which is what I guess we call that a prosumer recording equipment, wireless recording equipment, wireless microphones. So you can put the Wireless Go mics, the transceivers, onto someone's lapel. So it's like a lavalier mic, a lapel mic. And I actually got some high-end DPA mics that I can plug into the transceiver, so it's a better mic interface. And then that would be more of your traditional look. So, if you see people speaking on stage or in videos, oftentimes they have the little mic clipped to the lapel. And then you'll see that people have the little box on their back, or the speakers are trying to hide them, or the ladies will oftentimes look fancy, and it's like, where do you put the little box taped to their back, a couple cords hanging out. I was recently watching a speaking event, and there was 5,000 people there, and one of the keynote ladies, there were cords everywhere, the thing on her back, and I was like, oh my gosh, I do not feel so bad about the funny little experiences I've had with that, as I've put lapel mics on people and recorded them. I was like, yep, the pros have the same issue, even at the highest level. It turns out, so you have the transceiver, or the thing that's the microphone, and it beams to the receiver, right? So the receiver you plug into your camera, or it's actually receiving the audio track, the speaker track. And I guess I could go into more detail. You actually don't have to beam it anywhere. You can just have those mics capture the sound, the transceiver part, and then you can sync it post-production. But the cool thing is you can have the receiver plugged into your camera, and so it actually appends or puts the audio track onto your video track, right? That, instead of using the Apple microphone, it's literally using, or if I'm recording with an Apple phone, if I'm recording with an Apple phone, an iPhone, so the iPhone 14 Pro Max currently, the latest iteration. It uses the wireless Go mic for the audio track. And in post-production, you can strip out the audio and put on different audio. You can do whatever you want. It's pretty cool. And so, I have 3 cameras recording presentation, or a couple angles recording a testimonial. You can sync it all up post-production. So the goal is to capture the best audio you can. And so I had been doing some research. So when I was in Ireland, they had an audio guy, like an official audio guy with speakers and a mixing board and all that, and he was not recording the audio. And can I tell you how many audio guys are not recording the audio? Like, record the audio. Oh my gosh, I was just in shock. I'm like, oh my God. Like, even at the Good Shepherd thing, I was like, hey, is there an audio board, a mixing board? And I'll tell you why I asked that question in a minute. But they said yes. I'm like, is anybody recording it? No. I'm like, oh my gosh. So as a videographer, to be able to capture the audio track, that is a definite value add. So many distractions as I'm walking on the 101. So capturing the audio track's a value add. So at Crum Castle in Ireland, when I was getting testimonials and recording the presentations, when the presenters were presenting, they had the handheld mics, and then I put a lapel mic on them, which is kind of crazy, right? You needed 2 mics on them. And so I got back from Ireland, and I got great sound with my lapel mics, which is awesome. But I was doing some research on the wireless Go 2 and just recording and such. And one of the tips was plug the transceiver directly into the soundboard, or take a line out of the soundboard and plug it into your transceiver. Then you actually can capture the audio that the pro audio guys, the guys who are setting up the speakers, the mics, the soundboards, all the different channels, all this stuff. Like, you can just capture the main outs and bam, and you can actually have it sync automatically with your main video roll, or not. You can sync it post-production too. But I was like, oh my gosh, that is genius. I didn't even think about that. And so going into Raphy and Sarah's event, I was like, all right, I'm going to capture the sound right out of the soundboard that the audio guy is going to have there. And so I asked him if he had a soundboard. Yes, we do. Can I have one of the main outs or audio outs so I can capture that audio track of the speakers of Raphy and Sarah? Yes, you can. Awesome. So, of course, day of the event, I search to make sure that I've got all the proper gear. And guess what? I don't. Oh my gosh, so the hunt was on. You need what's called an attenuator. So it turns out I need an attenuator. And then you need, going from soundboards to phones and different things, you have to have different connectors. Oh my gosh. 3-pin connectors, 3.5 millimeter connectors, which are like the traditional old school plug into your phone connector, which do they even make phones with those anymore? RCA jacks, literally I was having to deal with that 3-pin connections, which are like your microphone. Like when someone has a microphone and they plug into their microphone, and you've got that 3-pin connector. And then there's also your 1-inch connector. So I had 4 connectors that I was dealing with. And like the 1-inch connector, that's the one that you see when people plug their guitar into their amps. You know, they plug that thing in. And I need an attenuator. And so an attenuator, going from a line out of a mixing board that's a super hot or a super powerful signal, and the mic into the receiver or the transceiver, the thing, a microphone into the little, the little box that you see people put on their backs when they're, presenting. That's a much softer, or I don't know if it's not as, it doesn't have as much electricity going through it. So you need an attenuator that steps down the power or the strength of the signal, or else you blow up your electronics on the transceiver. And so I needed to hunt down an attenuator, and I needed to hunt down the cords that go from 3-pin to RCA, or RCA to 3-pin, or 3-pin to 1-inch, and then the adapter that goes from 1-inch to the 3.5 millimeter. And I needed to be prepared for all circumstances. And guess what? It's surprisingly hard. The one attenuator cord was only available for next day delivery. And I'm like, or 2 days, or whatever it is. And I'm thinking, what a bummer. And that is a downside of Amazon, is that all the tech, or a lot of the tech connectors, people barely carry stuff in stock anymore, because, the Amazon will deliver overnight. And so the hunt was on. If you listen about 50 podcast episodes ago, or maybe 100 episodes ago, I ran into the same thing. When I got the Wireless Go 2 originally, there's a connector, a Rode connector. It's the Rode Wireless Go 2. You need a specific Rode connector to make it work with your iPhone, and you can't buy aftermarket. It has to be Rode. I figured that out literally as the day before I was getting on an airplane to go to Mexico, where I needed this dang cord to video some stuff and capture the sound, the audio. And oh my God, I literally drove like hundreds of miles to get a $30 cord. Same thing happened here. I had to drive all over San Diego. Literally drove, I don't know, 100 and some miles. And I had to spend a lot more money to get all the disparate pieces, all the separate pieces and connectors. And anyway, it was just really funny. I'll cut to the chase. I caught the sound out of the soundboard, and it is awesome. So fun. So fun. I'm so excited to be able to now to just, if I'm going somewhere, I could be anything, any event where there's a mixing board and they're capturing, like at Funnel Hacking Live, there's 5,000 people there. They have the big, TV broadcast quality, cameras with the serious lenses. It's like the cameras that they have at the football stadiums, right? But I could go, hey, I want to capture the audio track and use that audio track post-production for some different things, or sync it up with some of the video that I get with my iPhone or what have you. And so now to be able to plug into anybody's mixing board, grab the main sound and beam it wirelessly to wherever I want. So sick. Oh my gosh. Anyway, I'm done. That's it. Thank you for listening.
Thank you for listening to this episode of the Table Rush Talk Show. For resources to help you sell your stuff, go to belove.media/resources. That's belove.media/resources. And be sure to subscribe, comment, 5-star, and share. Thank you again for listening.